Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Window Shopping. I'm your host and architectural realtor expert, Stephen Mead with Domicile Real Estate. We do this video series because I love houses, and I hope you love houses too, right? I think these are not just places to live. In a way, there's so much more than that, and I think architecture, design, these things really kind of have an effect that permeates throughout your life. And this week, we're talking about a house that I posted to my Facebook account as well. So if you've already seen that, we're gonna dive a little deeper because this is one of those homes that really is so incredibly special, not just because it's a cool house, but I mean it really transcends that. It's art, but it's also history, and it's important history. And honestly, it's history that I think I'd like to see repeat a little bit. And so we're going to dive into a very special home in Los Angeles, part of the Crestwood Hills area. But the area actually started with a different name even before that, that I think tells a lot really more about it. So I'm going to bring it up here and we're going to start diving in to a little bit of the history because I think it's really important. This is 12367 Deerbrook Lane in Los Angeles. This one is not our listing. It's listed by Crosby, and Associates, a very, very long time architectural realtor here in Southern California. This is a house that is in the Crestwood Hills development, but it was originally called the Mutual Housing Association. And in 1946, right after World War II, a group of 4 musicians got together. I mean, musicians, right? We're not even talking about property developers. We're not talking about architects. 4 musicians got together because they had an idea. Can we create sort of the neighborhood of tomorrow, right? We're in the second half, or we're approaching the second half of the 20th century. Can they create something magical? And, they ended up getting a group together of 400 people. They called it the Mutual Housing Association, and they bought 800 acres just below the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, which is really amazing when you think about it. Like, it started again with 4 musicians. They hired 2 architects, one of whom was A. Quincy Jones, who went on to do a bunch of Eichler designs, really cool custom homes in Palm Springs, lots of amazing work. And they hired a couple of architects, a structural engineer, and they really set out to do something amazing. And the reason why I'm focusing on this right now is because I heard somebody say something last week, and they said, we should be working to create a California that everybody wants to move to. And I don't think California, when you figure in the costs and some other things, has really been that for a lot of people in the last 20 years. And this development, these houses were based on that idea, right? Of let's create the most amazing way to live in the United States. We have the power to do it. We have the power to bring upper levels of design to middle income. Now, this home is listed for $2.5 million. That's not middle income really by any measurement. And, times are very different than they were in 1950 when this house was built. But it makes me think, can we take that spirit, or can we take that idea and apply it elsewhere? And that's why a house like this is really so important. It's not just the house, it's the idea and where a home like this sits in history. And they created about 9 floor plans, and they did a bunch of variations on them to build them. And I want to talk about some of the highlights and some of the amazing things. So right off the bat, this looks like a custom home, right? If you saw this, your thought would be custom home, not a tract home. And, when you look at some of these design elements, I mean, clearly this was designed for where it was going to be located, not just within this neighborhood, right, to maximize the views, but also within California in general. I mean, that's why there's so much glass and patios and space. This home is only about 1,388 square feet, and it's on an 8,700 square foot lot, which is not huge by today's standards for, the lot's pretty good size by today's standards, but the house really isn't, and it's on multiple levels. You see, they incorporated a lot of bespoke elements. This house was all about quality over quantity. Everything in here was make every room feel unique, have every room feel special, take advantage of the views. And I feel like we just don't put that kind of care into our housing today. And it's sad because our homes are way more expensive relatively than this one was when it was built. You can see we've got an ocean view here. If you look over, let me get my little annotation here out. See, they changed this around in Zoom. We've got some new, well, I will have to figure that out here, how to do this. Got our little spotlight. We've got some ocean view on this property. That's part of the reason why it's priced where it is. You've got these patios and these spaces and overhangs. Everything about this home feels like it was very carefully and intentionally designed. Nothing is haphazard. Every space in this house has a purpose. You'll notice there's a lot of unique angles in this home, that there aren't a lot of straight lines. And that definitely makes it more difficult to build things like kitchen cabinets. But it also means every space starts to feel unique, and they echoed that in the landscape. You can see the more ocean viewage here. The bedrooms feel special. There's a lot of built-ins, a lot of unique spaces within this house. And they also incorporate kind of a unique ridge beam design. It almost looks like a mini I-beam with this cap on it. And everything about the homes in this neighborhood was meant to be an experiment, and it meant to this nod of where you live matters, right? And that creating neighborhoods and creating spaces for people to live matter. And while it's sad that this is now a $2.5 million house, and part of that's because these homes are art and these homes are history. Another part of it is just, this is West Los Angeles, right? West Los Angeles is, not an inexpensive place to live, even if it's just a stucco box off Centinela. It's still a very expensive place to live. But can we take these design elements? Can we replicate this in places that are more affordable? Can we go back to creating smaller homes that are better designed, that quality over quantity feel? And, I think honestly, I believe that we can. This home is, like I said, 8,600 square feet, just under 1,400 square foot for the inside home. It's a beautiful, amazing property, but it's really emblematic of something much bigger than that. And that's the reason why we're featuring it. It's beautiful, yes, but we need more of this. We need more thinking like this, I think, in our housing here in California. It doesn't have to be big or grand or expensive. These were not, while these were good sized homes when they were built, they certainly weren't mansions, in that time period. These were not the homes of Hancock Park. These homes were something else. They were designed to be accessible to middle incomes or even upper middle incomes, right? Working professionals, I think. And, I want to see more things like this develop. I want to see us go to old neighborhoods and make those neighborhoods beautiful. I mean, this neighborhood really kind of launched an era in Southern California. A lot of people followed in these footsteps of that idea of bringing amazing design to the masses. Cliff May, the Mar Vista tract. In fact, if you get our regular emails, you're going to see there's an Edward Fickett neighborhood that was in San Pedro. There's a beautiful example that's come up for sale. That one's at 1.1 million, a much more accessible price point than this. But you look at this, and I think there's so much opportunity out there, and I think we don't take advantage of it as Californians, and that's something that we need to do a better job of. If you love this home and you'd like to see it, definitely let us know. It's not our listing, but really, you deserve representation. Your interests are important. You deserve someone who has a fiduciary relationship to you, to act in your best interest and give you great advice. We would love to be that person for you. If it's not this home, if it's any kind of architectural unique home that you'd either like to buy or that you have one to sell here in Southern California, we can definitely help you with that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we will see you again real soon.